I'm writing this from my grandmother's house, my house now I guess. Because people keep asking me if I went too far. If I should have just let it go. If family is worth destroying over money. Here's what happened. I'm 28F, a software engineer in Seattle. 3 months ago, my grandmother Elizabeth died. She was 86, sharp until the very end, and the only person in my family who ever really saw me. My parents died in a car accident when I was 7. Gran raised me alone, working 2 jobs to put me through college, never complaining, never making me feel like a burden. When she died, peacefully, in her sleep, which was the only mercy in all of this, I was devastated. I flew home to Portland for the funeral, barely holding myself together. That's when I found the envelope. I got to Gran's house the day before the funeral. My Uncle Robert and Aunt Linda were already there, along with their son Jones, my cousin. They were in the living room going through boxes, and the energy felt wrong the moment I walked in. Too busy. Too purposeful. "Oh, honey," Aunt Linda said, hugging me quickly. "We're just organizing things for the estate lawyer. You know how much paperwork there is." I nodded, numb. I wasn't thinking about paperwork. I was thinking about how Gran's chair still had her reading glasses on the armrest, how her teacup was still in the sink. I went upstairs to my old bedroom. Gran had kept it exactly as I'd left it for college. And there, tucked under my pillow, was an envelope with my name on it in Gran's handwriting. Inside was a letter dated 1 week before she died. "My dearest girl. If you're reading this, I'm gone, and I need you to know something. Robert came to see me last month with papers. He said they were healthcare directives, that I needed to sign them just in case. I was tired, and he was insistent, so I signed them. But yesterday I got a call from my bank asking about a wire transfer I didn't authorize. When I checked, $50,000 was missing from my savings. I confronted Robert. He said I'd given him power of attorney and authorized the transfer, but I never did. I only signed what I thought were healthcare papers. I'm getting my lawyer involved tomorrow, but I'm writing this to you now because I don't know how much time I have, and I need you to know the truth. My will is clear, everything goes to you. The house, the savings, my life insurance. Robert knows this. He's known for years. I think that's why he did this. Don't let him take what I worked my whole life to give you. You're the only good thing I did with my life. All my love, Gran." My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the letter. I read it 3 times, trying to process what it meant. Robert had tricked Gran into signing POA documents. He'd stolen $50,000. And now he was downstairs going through her things like he owned them. I walked downstairs slowly, the letter in my pocket. Uncle Robert was in Gran's office now, going through her desk drawers. "Looking for something?" I asked. He jumped slightly. "Oh, just trying to find her insurance papers." "For the lawyer." "Her lawyer already has all that," I said quietly. She was very organized. Right. Well, just being thorough." I watched him for a moment. He wouldn't meet my eyes. The funeral was the next day. I sat in the front row between Uncle Robert and Aunt Linda, listening to the pastor talk about Gran's kindness, her sacrifice, her love for family. Robert cried. Linda cried. Jones gave a eulogy about what a wonderful grandmother she was. I felt nothing. Just a cold, focused clarity. After the funeral, Gran's lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia Morse, met with us at her office for the will reading. Uncle Robert brought his own lawyer. That should have been my first public clue that something was wrong, but Patricia noticed. The will was simple, everything to me. The house, the savings accounts, the life insurance payout of $200,000. Total estate value, approximately $480,000. Robert's lawyer immediately objected. My client has concerns about the validity of this will. Mrs. Elizabeth Smith was 86 years old and may not have had capacity when the will was executed 4 years ago, Patricia interrupted, when Mrs. Smith was 82 and demonstrably of sound mind. It was witnessed by 2 independent parties and notarized. There is no question of validity. Nevertheless, Robert's lawyer continued, my client has power of attorney over Mrs. Smith's affairs and has been managing her finances for the past month. There are debts that need to be settled from the estate before any distribution. I pulled out Gran's letter. Is this the power of attorney you're referring to? I handed it to Patricia. She read it, her expression darkening. Then she looked at Robert. Mr. Smith, did you obtain power of attorney from your mother under the pretense of healthcare directives? She was confused. She wanted me to have access to help her with bills. Did you withdraw $50,000 from her savings account without her knowledge or consent? Silence. Patricia closed her folder. This meeting is over. Mr. Smith, I'm obligating as Mrs. Smith's executor to report this to the Oregon State Bar and to local authorities. You'll be hearing from them. Robert stood up, his face red. This is ridiculous. She's lying. He pointed at me. That letter could be fake. My mother was senile at the end. Everyone knows that. Your mother, I said quietly, was sharper than you'll ever be. And she knew exactly what you did. I walked out. Patricia called me that evening. I've contacted the Portland Police Bureau's Financial Crimes Unit and the Oregon Department of Justice Elder Abuse Unit. They want to talk to you. I gave them everything. The letter, Gran's bank statements that Patricia pulled, phone records showing Robert had called Gran repeatedly in the week before she signed the POA, and a recording I found on Gran's answering machine, yes, she still had a landline, of Robert pressuring her, Mom, you need to do this. It's for your own good. Just sign the papers. The detective, a patient man named Morris, was blunt about it. This is textbook elder financial abuse. Coerced POA, unauthorized transfers, exploitation of a vulnerable person. We'll need to investigate, but there's enough here for charges. How long will it take? Depends on how cooperative he is. But Ms. Smith, you should know, this might get ugly. Family cases always do. It got ugly fast. Robert hired a better lawyer and filed a lawsuit contesting the will. He claimed Gran had promised him the house, that I'd manipulated her in her final years, that the letter was forged. He pushed the narrative that Gran had dementia and I'd taken advantage of her. Aunt Linda backed him up completely, suddenly remembering all these conversations where Gran supposedly said she wanted Robert to have the house. Jones stayed quiet, but he didn't contradict them. The local news picked it up, family fight over inheritance turns bitter. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. Relatives I barely knew were calling to tell me I should just split everything with Robert, that Gran would have wanted the family to get along. But I knew what Gran wanted. She'd written it down. I hired my own lawyer, Daniel Kim, who specialized in estate litigation and elder abuse cases. His advice was immediate: don't engage with them publicly. Let the criminal investigation run its course. Document everything. The police investigation took 6 weeks. They interviewed Robert, Linda, Jones, Gran's bank, the notary who'd witnessed the POA signing, and Gran's doctor, who testified that she had no cognitive impairment in her final months. Then they found something I didn't know about. Robert had made 3 other unauthorized withdrawals from Gran's account after the initial $50,000. Smaller amounts, $8,000, $12,000, $15,000, but all transferred to an LLC he'd created called Smith Family Trust. There was no family trust. It was just Robert's personal account. Total stolen, $85,000. The charges came down in week 8, 2 counts of elder financial abuse, 1 count of theft in the first degree, 1 count of forgery related to the POA, and 1 count of exploitation of an elderly person. Robert was arrested at his home in Lake Oswego. The news covered that too. His lawyer immediately tried to make a deal. But here's where I drew my line. Patricia called me after the DA's office reached out. They're offering Robert a plea deal. Plead guilty to 1 count of elder abuse, pay restitution of $85,000, and he gets 18 months, probably serves 9. What do you think? I asked. I think you have to decide what justice means to you. The criminal case is solid, but trials are unpredictable. A plea guarantees conviction and restitution. I thought about Gran working 2 jobs. I thought about her keeping my childhood room unchanged for 10 years. I thought about her last letter, worried that Robert would take what she'd worked her whole life to give me. No deal, I said. I want a trial. Daniel supported this. Good. Because I want to sue them too. Civil suit for fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and conversion. We go after everything. We filed suit 2 weeks later, Smith v. Smith et al. The et al. Was Linda and Jones. Yes, I sued all of them. Here's why. Linda had helped Robert pressure Gran. Jones had received $15,000 of the stolen money for consulting fees on the fake family trust. They were complicit. The lawsuit asked for $85,000 in stolen funds, plus $200,000 in punitive damages and attorney's fees. Linda called me 3 days after being served. How could you do this? We're family. You helped him steal from Gran. He was just trying to help manage her money. He stole $85,000 and you knew about it. Don't call me again. Jones sent an email. I didn't know what Dad was doing. I thought the money was legitimate. Please drop the suit against me. I showed it to Daniel. He's lying, Daniel said. Bank records show he knew exactly where that $15,000 came from. He's just trying to save himself. The criminal trials started in month 5. I took a leave of absence from work to attend every day. The prosecution was thorough. They presented Gran's letter, the bank records, the phone recordings, testimony from Gran's doctor, testimony from her friends about how sharp she was, and testimony from the notary who admitted Robert had rushed the signing and she hadn't asked many questions. Robert's defense was that Gran had been confused, that he'd been helping her, that the withdrawals were for her care. The prosecution destroyed that. They showed that none of the money had gone to Gran's care, it had all gone to Robert's LLC, then to his personal accounts, then to paying off his own credit card debt and a boat payment. A boat. He'd bought a boat with money stolen from his dying mother. I testified about finding the letter, about Gran's relationship with me, about how she'd explicitly told me years ago that everything was going to me because Robert already had enough. Robert testified in his own defense. It was a disaster. He tried to paint himself as the dutiful son, but under cross-examination, he admitted he'd visited Gran less than 5 times in the previous year. He admitted he'd needed money for debts. He admitted the withdrawals weren't authorized. His lawyer tried to argue diminished capacity due to stress and financial pressure. The jury didn't buy it. Deliberations took 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing was 3 weeks later. I submitted a victim impact statement, 5 pages about what Gran meant to me, what Robert had taken from her, what he'd taken from me in those final weeks when she was worried and scared instead of peaceful. The judge read everything. Then he looked at Robert. "Mr. Smith, you exploited your elderly mother's trust for financial gain. You stole from her systematically and deliberately. You showed no remorse until you were caught. This court finds no mitigating factors. Robert Smith, you are sentenced to 4 years in state prison." Linda gasped. Jones put his head in his hands. I exhaled. Part 1 was done. The civil trial came 3 months later. It was faster, most of the evidence was already established from the criminal case. We just had to prove damages and Linda and Jones's involvement. The jury found all 3 defendants liable. Robert, $285,000 in damages and fees. Linda, $50,000 for her role in the coercion. Jones, $15,000 restitution plus $25,000 in punitive damages. They didn't have that kind of money. Robert's lawyer filed for bankruptcy, but Daniel had anticipated that. We'd placed liens on Robert and Linda's house, their cars, Jones's condo. Everything was frozen. "They'll have to sell," Daniel said. "Everything. And even then, they might not cover it all. But you'll get the $85,000 back, plus probably another $100,000 over time." "And the house?" I asked. "Gran's house." "My house." "Yours." "Free and clear. The will challenge is dead. You own it." "I moved into Gran's house last month. I kept her reading chair, her teacup, her bookshelf organized exactly the way she left it. I'm slowly making it my own, but I want to honor what she built here. Robert is at Snake River Correctional Institution. He'll serve at least 3 years. Linda and Jones are selling their house. They've stopped calling. The extended family is split. Half think I destroyed the family over money. Half think Robert got what he deserved. I don't care what they think anymore. People ask me if 4 years is too harsh. If I should have taken the plea deal. If I should have let the civil suit go. Here's what I tell them: Robert stole $85,000 from his dying mother. He manipulated her, scared her, and made her final weeks filled with worry instead of peace. He tried to take what she'd worked her entire life to give me. And when he got caught, he lied about it and tried to make everyone think Gran was senile. 4 years isn't too harsh. It's justice. Gran's last words to me in that letter were, "Don't let him take what I worked my whole life to give you." I didn't. And I never will. So no, I don't regret it. I'd do it all again. Because some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. They deserve consequences. Update: for those asking about the boat, yes, Robert had to sell it. It was included in the asset seizure. It sold for $22,000, which went directly to my restitution payment. The irony is not lost on me. Jones sent another email asking if we can move past this. I haven't responded. There's nothing to move past. He made his choices. To everyone saying I should have just split everything to keep the peace, Gran didn't want peace with Robert. She wanted justice. And she wanted me to have what she built. I'm honoring that. That's all that matters. If this story touched you, tell me in the comments. And if you love powerful, emotional stories that remind you how strong you truly are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out the next video on screen right now.